All right, welcome in, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We've got head coach Dana Holgorsen with us. We'll start with questions. If you can, please use the right-hand tool to raise your hand to ask a question. First up, got Mark Berman from Fox 26. Mark?
Hey, Dana, how are you doing?
Great.
I was looking at the stats, and Cincinnati's 15th in the country in total defense, 7th in scoring defense. What are some things that come to mind when you watch them on tape?
Sound, athletic, and old. Up front, there's senior, junior. Backups are senior, junior, senior. Linebackers, they go senior. Nickelback, really good player, number 9, is a sophomore. Safeties are senior. Corners are senior, sophomore. Get my point?
Got your point.
So, Coach Fickle, is a really good football coach. Has been there since 16. What's that make it? It's his 5th year, it's going on his 5th year. So established, all these are his guys. He's been coaching them the same way for 5 years. I hope and pray that they have me around here long enough to be able to, at 5 years into it, sit here and talk about all my seniors that have been in the program for the last 5 years. They're sound, they're fast, they're tough, they're physical, they're athletic, they play with great effort, and they play well together as a team.
All right, for those with questions, you can use the raise your hand tool. We'll keep going. All right, we'll go to Jason Bristol up next. Jason?
Dana, do you have an update on Stevenson?
Nope.
Are you optimistic about him returning?
Not really. We all hope. I mean, kind of sucks when your best player goes out after one catch, but that's football and it's 2020 and it doesn't matter, man. I did think Bryson Smith went in and made a couple of plays. We've been waiting on him to do that, and that was his opportunity to be able to go in there. It's been the same song and dance since June. We coach who's available. Nobody cares, that a couple of our captains couldn't play. Nobody's going to cut anybody any slack whatsoever. We got guys that are out, but we got guys that need to step in there and play. That's the bottom line. So, the better those backups go in there and play, the better chance we have of winning. That's every team across the country. Central Florida didn't cry about 2 of their best defenders not being there. They played their best game defensively against us without 2 of their better players. So, that's not an excuse not to play well. So, we obviously hope Speedy plays at some point. So, great player, game changer, all that stuff. But if not, we expect Bryson Smith to step in there and play at a high level.
Thank you.
All right, next question goes to Joseph Duarte. Joseph?
Dana, just along those lines, your policy I know has been that if it's season ending, you usually release it. So are you at least there's some confidence that he could play at some point again, or is it just this week that you're not optimistic?
We'll see how he is tomorrow. Joseph, he didn't practice yesterday. Today's their day off because of election day. Didn't practice yesterday. We'll see how he is tomorrow. Terrell Brown is going to have season-ending knee surgery. That was unfortunate. He was starting to play a little bit on special teams, so he's a long-term guy. It's not a good one either. So feel bad for him. And then I told you about Patrick Paul last week. So those guys are out. Those guys are done for the year. Everybody else from, Donnie Muton to Jeremy Singleton to Garrison Vaughn, Kelvin Clements, all those guys are day-to-day. We'll see how they are tomorrow.
Thank you.
And there'll probably be more things come up tomorrow. It's just day-to-day. I've never seen anything like it, from COVID to just the way things are. I don't know if it's lack of preseason hitting or COVID, or I don't know, but it's literally day-to-day on who's available.
Next question goes to Andy Yanez from the Daily Cougar. Andy?
Yeah, Dana, you kind of just talked about it, how today the student athletes have election day off. I'm just curious, how have the players have they mention how important this election is for them? And have you guys done anything to like kind of educate them on the candidates? I know some other coaches from the other programs said they were looking to do that. Have you guys done anything with the student athletes, or have they kind of encouraged their own teammates to go out and vote?
Yeah, we addressed it back, with, some of when we had a little bit more time on our hands, back and I guess it was like August, mid-August or whenever, with some rallies that were going on and some, a lot of heart-to-heart conversations we had with individuals. One of the bigger things that came of it was just this huge initiative to vote. Our team took liberty before it became an NCAA thing. I mean, this became an NCAA day off, like a month or 6 weeks ago or whatever it was. So our team had kind of discussed that a long time prior to that, as far as how do we register to vote, making it available for them to be able to register to vote, giving them the opportunity to go register to vote. And then we brought people here that if they hadn't registered to vote, they can register to vote here in the building, So and then at that point, I mean, it's each individual's right. I don't want to influence people on what political opinions that I have or any of that. So, each and every one of our players are their own person with their own opinions. And this is their way of being able to express it with the ability to be able to vote. So we encourage them to do it. There's nothing going on in our building other than just continuing the game prep from coaches. I'm even giving coaches a couple hours off to go do that and exercise their right to vote. But our players have the entire day off to do what they want to when it comes to that. And we encourage them to do so, and then we'll get back to work tomorrow.
All right, swinging back around to Joseph. JD?
Dana, on their offensive side for Cincinnati, Ritter seems to be a handful. Is there anything specific about him in terms of his style? Is he a bigger guy in terms of the ability to run that kind of stuff?
He kind of looks like Kaepernick out there, honestly. I mean, it's crazy how we're discussing politics, but that came up 2 or 3 times with him. But he's 6'4", 215, and runs pretty good. I didn't realize he ran that dang good, and then he got out against Cincinnati a couple times and looked pretty daggum impressive to me. He's a seasoned guy, same guy we played last year, but he's got a lot of experience and a lot of snaps under his belt. It seems like every quarterback we play in this league has a ton of experience. They'll be saying that about our guy here real quick, hopefully, but they do a good job offensively at controlling the game. They're familiar with their O-line coach. He worked for me at West Virginia and does a great job in the run game, being physical and scheming people up. And their run game's where it all starts. He's a big part of that. Ritter's a big part of that. And then they got quality receivers. And they always have a couple of tight ends that give you problems as well.
Next question goes back to Mark Berman. Mark?
Dana, if Marquez is limited or can't go, how much does it change your thinking, or is it simply the system is what it is and you plug and play?
Yeah, we're not. I don't know how you could change a whole lot, but Bryson Smith's been sitting there doing the same stuff that Marquez has. So if we got to get into the Marcus Cockrell world with true freshmen and stuff at some point, we're prepared to be able to do that. But I don't know how much you're going to be able to change. I mean, we got plenty of offense and plays that we got to be able to execute, and there is plays to be made last week. I got to do a better job of coaching. There's no question about that. Just the overall game last week wasn't acceptable. We didn't come close to playing well enough to win. That falls on me, and that's everywhere. That's offense, defense, special teams. So I got to do a better job of coaching and getting these guys to understand what we're trying to do and get them to do a better job of executing what we're trying to get done.
Back to JD with another question. Joseph?
Sorry about that. Dana, when you did go back and look at the film after Saturday from the offensive standpoint, was there anything that confirmed what you believed, or was there something that put your finger on what was going on offensively? Obviously what they did was a big factor, but on y'all's end?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say that they're bad and we should have done a lot better. That's as good as they've played defensively. Randy Shannon is a good quality defensive coordinator. They have really good players. That's the best they've played. They were physical up front. They we didn't have open people and they didn't miss tackles. Now, with that said, we didn't execute very good either. So, I got to do a better job of getting our guys ready to play. And when you get into a game like that, you got to score. Maybe there was probably a little bit of pressing going on, which we can't worry about that offensively. We got to just worry about what our job is and execute plays and get first downs, which hopefully turn into points. Clearly didn't score anywhere near enough points to be able to compete with the team like Central Florida, and I got to do a better job of getting our guys to execute.
Back on Bryson, Dana, when you got here, I remember, we were asking you about his future, and, he was a former high school quarterback, and you were like, he needs to focus on receiver. What have you seen in this year and 4 games from him along those lines in his development?
Well, not a whole lot. You've watched the games too. We try to do a couple of different things with them, and we'll continue to try to do a couple of different things with them like we did last year. Hopefully he's just now starting to come into his own a little bit. We're not going to gear our entire offense around a guy that wasn't even a starter here. So, but I have been happy with the way he went in there last week and made a couple of plays, got him a couple of first downs. I thought he looked good, and I think he'll continue to progress. Still relatively raw in the receiver game, which that just, nobody cares. You got to get better quick and go in there and play at a high level. And that's regardless of who's available to play or not available to play. He's one of the guys that's been playing that needs to continue to progress.
All right, we'll go to up next, Ryan from Go Cougs. Ryan. Hey, Ryan, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. You had Baines and Pincotti playing at left guard the last 3 quarters of the game. What precipitated that move?
Well, I would assume that it's lack of production. And I don't know, you can probably answer that in your own words if you want to, but if, guys produce, they play. If guys don't, they don't. We're still searching for depth up front. I thought Max Baines went in and did a really good job. We're still searching for some answers up front. I thought we played okay. That wasn't the reason why we didn't score enough points. We're continuing to progress up front. I thought Braylon Jones and Dennis Bardwell had their best games. Jack was okay. We got to just continue to develop depth. There's no way you're ever going to go into a year and play with about 5 linemen and that's it. That rarely happens. What BYU's doing is pretty spectacular, but even them are playing with 7, 8, 9 guys. So, got to keep building depth. The only way you build depth is by playing more people and continuing to bring them along and continuing to get them better. And was happy with Max's development there last week.
We'll wrap it up with Joseph for the last one. JD?
Dana, it's looked like in the pregame the last few weeks, like the intention with Mulba has been to try to give it a go. Has there just been something as the game begins or you go through things that he just isn't quite there yet?
Yeah, I think that's probably a good assessment. He practiced better last week, but we just had a hard time getting things going in the run game. We gotta work hard on that. Cincinnati is really good against the run. But with that said, I don't care who we play. We got to get the run game going. And Mulva's a big part of that. So he looked good. He looked good yesterday. So hopefully we'll keep bringing him along and get him back to where he was for the 4 games that he played in last year. He hadn't looked like that yet this year, but we have confidence in him to be able to get there, and hopefully that happens this week.
All right, everybody, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 1:30 for student athletes, and we'll send out a recording of this shortly to you guys. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you, guys.